Good evening, everybody. Coming on a little early today because I got a quick meeting at 3 o'clock at the studio. I am excited about new music that's going to be released by myself. Let's get that on the go. I had a little setback, but back on track, and I'm excited about that. Can't wait for you all to hear the goodness that came out of this vision. But I came on real quick, because I got something to do at 3 o'clock, but I wanted to encourage your hearts from a status that I put up earlier this week. It says something on the lines of, things happen when I obey God. Things happen when I obey God. Many people in this hour, even in this pandemic, even before the pandemic was happening, people just, have this thing where they got to seek out a word, they got to have clarity, and I understand that to some extent. People want to know, what's the word, what's the word, what's the word, what's the word, what's the word. Every time they say, what's the word, what is God saying? But I believe that He is saying in this hour, when you obey me, that's when we going to see things happen. When you obey me, when you obey my voice, when you do what I say, when you keep my commandments, that's when we're going to see God at His best. When you seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, when you be willing and obedient, when you're willing to do what God says, even though it may cost you some friends, even though it may cost you some family members. When you obey God, that's when you're going to see things happen. A lot of people are discouraged because they got a word, they got the word, but they're not seeing it come to pass. They're not seeing it in its fullest. Many people can't see it in its fullest because you have been told folks what God has told you. And because they didn't see what you saw, or because they didn't understand what God was showing you to the fullest, they discouraged you into not doing what God has told you to do. Many people have discouraged you, oh child, that ain't gonna work, and I've tried that before, and all of that negative has been put in your ears. And now you have been made to believe that God didn't speak. That's why you got to be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful who you're sharing your visions with. You got to be careful as to who you're letting in your space, as to what God has shown you in prayer, as to what God has shown you in visions, because a lot of times people are not going to understand the mind of God. People are not going to understand the will of God, and when people don't understand God, they're not going to understand how He moves in you and what He shows you and how He deals with you. So it's going to lead you to believe that you can't obey what He has showed you, what He has told you. You can't walk in it into the fullest. So I encourage you today to watch who you letting in your space when it comes to what God has shown you, when it comes to what God has told you. I encourage you to obey God to the fullest. You didn't miss Him. Trust me, child of God, you did not miss Him. You did not misheard Him or nothing like that. As a matter of fact, if you just need confirmation, He will send confirmation to what He has told you, and it's going to be accurate. It's not going to be anything false. It's not going to be anything made up or guessed about or make believe. But when God sends you the confirmation, it's going to be accurate and it's going to be on point. To where you're not going to have no other choice but to obey God and do what he says. Some of you, he's even speaking to you even now as you're on this live listening at me, or even as you watch the replay. God is saying, get busy. God is saying, do what I told you. God is saying, go back to your first love. God is saying, pick up that pen and paper that you have dropped down. He's saying, pick that vision back up. And when you obey God and when you complete the assignment that he has put to your hands, that's when you're going to see God at his best. That's when you're going to see blessings after blessings, favor after favor, overflow after overflow. When you obey God, and I'm a witness to that this week here, it was some things God was commissioning me to do. It was some things God was just nudging at my heart to do. And when I obeyed God, I saw him in his full potential. I see God move quickly as he can. 24-hour, 3-day, those type of things. I believe God is a God of the 24-hour miracles. I believe he could do it in 2 weeks. I believe he could do it in 3 weeks when we obey him. Because he did it for me just this week, nudging at my heart to do something. And I did it. And within the next few days, I saw a turnaround. Even about a year ago, same thing. God was nudging at my heart to do this one particular thing. And when he did it, I saw the manifestation of what he was telling me to do. I see why I had to obey God. And children of God, I come to encourage you when you don't understand why God is telling you to do a thing, why God is nudging at your heart to do a thing. It's for a reason. You may not understand it now, but by and by, you will understand why God told you to do this, that, the third. Why God told you to bless that person. Why God told you to get up out of the bed and pray 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when you was dead tired, when you was asleep, when you know you got to get up at 6 o'clock the next morning. You may not understand it now, but by and by you will see why God said what he said. So I encourage you, child of God, those of you that's on here listening, those of you that'll watch the replay, obey God to his fullest. Say yes to the Lord in this season. If he's telling you to steal away, steal away. If he's telling you to be quiet and not share just yet, do what he's saying. No matter how much the people are pulling on you. Be sure that God give you the release. Because some of us, he's telling us to be quiet in this season. Some of us, he's telling us to be still in this season. Some of us, he's telling us to hold our peace and he'll fight the battle. Obey God. No matter how bad you want to let it out. No matter how bad you want to run. Obey God. Obey God to the fullest. And I guarantee you, you'll see him at his fullest potential. You'll see him blessing you like never before. You'll see the favor of God moving in your life like never before. And I decree and I declare that we're going to obey God in this season, because we don't want no hang-ups. We don't want no setbacks. We don't want nothing slowing us down. Even after this pandemic is lifted, we're going to be able to walk into our fullest potential because of our obedience to God. The scripture declares in Isaiah, if we be willing and obedient, we will eat the good of the land. In other words, we'll see God at his fullest potential. We'll be in our fullest potential. If we be obedient. When we be obedient. And that's a big win, because some of us are procrastinating, bargaining with God. You don't have to bargain with him. Do what he say. and do it the first time around. I know because I've been there. I'd be like, God, do you really want me to do that? Do you really want me to say that? Is this really you? And God is saying, yes, it's me. Just obey me. Just obey my word. Just obey my voice. And we're going to see blessings on blessings. In the words of Anthony Brown, blessings on blessings. You can run after every prophecy that you want. You could chase after every man of God, woman of God, and they could tell you, if I be a man of God, God gonna do this, and that's good and fine. But if you're not obedient, your blessings gonna be held up. It comes with obedience. Some of you, God is telling you to bless somebody. Some of you, God, you know what God is telling you to give to this certain person, to be a witness to that certain family member. And your question, did you really say that? Yes, he did. Trust me. Trust my words. You'll see it by and by. I did this week. I did a year ago. And years ago. I've seen God at his fullest potential when I've been obedient. So I encourage you today to be obedient to God. And when you do that, you're going to see the blessings, the favor, the overflow like never before. Share this word with somebody. I hope it encourages you to obey God like never before, to get busy, to pick up those ideas, those assignments, and do what God has told you to do. Don't chase after another word, but obey the word that God has already spoken over your life. He said it. Yes, he said it. It's just up to you to do it. Like Nike logo says, just do it. And watch God bless you like never before. Watch the turnaround come like never before. In Jesus' name. I hope this word bless you. Like, share, and be on the lookout for Saturday Live. In another couple of weeks, I'm going to try to come on every other week and just share some motivation, word, inspiration, building you up, helping you get to your rightful place. So be sure to tell somebody about Saturday Live, and let's get excited about motivation, inspiration, revelation. I hope you have a blessed Saturday. I hope you're staying safe and doing the things to stay safe and take the safety precautions. And until then, you all be blessed.